Hello, there I am. I was like, hello.
That's like deja vu of when we used to be on the radio.
I was literally just thinking that we always used to forget to fade the other one up, didn't we? Welcome back to the latest episode of the Laura and Becky Show, sponsored by SpaRedbrik Estate Agents and Ringwood Hall Hotel and Spa.
As always, welcome along. If you are new here, you are more than welcome. If you've listened to all of them, then well done. Thank you.
We are gonna do something a little bit different today, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Which we are quite excited about. So normally in the season of the podcast, we normally do like a serious one, don't we?
Yeah, we've done one on death. We did one on
anxiety.
Yeah, and now this one. Is that it? I think it was just 3, wasn't it? Don't we do it all the time?
No, we don't. We pick and choose, basically. But today we want to do one on kind of like money, debt and stress around, not having any money.
Yeah, well, it's like the last day of Jan, the longest and probably most stressful month for most people when it comes to money.
Absolutely. Yep.
So I think probably most people have now been paid. Like today is like the final payday. We haven't.
Yeah. No, we're still waiting on money from people, which is actually really annoying. But yeah, I think people are feeling the pinch, aren't they? And obviously the cost of living crisis as well.
Everything is so expensive.
Well, we've been talking about this a lot. We've been like a couple of old ladies, haven't we, moaning about it. But when you go to the supermarket, I feel like at the moment you really notice that things are a lot more expensive than they used to be.
Things that I've noticed that are really expensive. Petit Falous.
What? What are they?
Petit Falous.
What?
Petit Falous, shut up.
What are they?
You don't know what Petit Falou is?
No.
The yogurt, Petit Falou.
Oh, those things. I was thinking of a little cake. I thought it was a little French cake.
It probably is.
I don't buy Petit Falous.
Petit Falous. No, I just note it. Yogurts in general are really expensive. Cheese
Meat is really expensive.
Meat, yeah.
Meat.
What else? Tuna, quite expensive.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, just like little things I've noticed. I was like, oh, bloody hell, they're expensive.
Petrol, obviously, ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, although it's coming down a little bit.
Is it?
It's coming. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Thank the Lord.
That's coming down. What else is expensive?
Wine, booze.
So
especially if you go out somewhere and you have like a glass of wine or whatever, it is ridiculous.
It is. Yeah, it is getting very expensive. Heating.
Oh God,
electricity.
Don't even. Yeah. Basically everything.
Everything's gone up. So yeah, I think this January's probably been one of the toughest Januaries we've known for a while when it comes to money.
I've been living in
squalor.
No lights on, no heating on. No, I've been living in ignorance a little bit with my heating.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I can't cut back on. I've cut back on it pretty much everything else. I'm really good with switching electrics off and lights off and things. I just can't be cold, mate. I can't do it. So when I put it on, I kind of like grimace a little bit and put it on. I think, it's okay,
just leave it.
I'll deal with that another day.
Our smart meter is in the cupboard underneath our stairs. So as soon as you open the door, boom, it's there.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I've turned it around. I can't look at it. I can't look at that every time I want to put my shoes on.
No.
It is scary how quickly that smart meter moves.
Oh, God, I'm glad I haven't got one.
Oh, my God.
Or maybe I should have one.
So, yeah, basically, money and debt. Now, I said to you yesterday, I was like, I really want to talk about debt, but I have to be careful about what I say.
Yeah.
So basically, we're going to go way back to when I split up with the girl's father. I'm not going to talk about him at all, other than to say I was left with a lot of debt. One of the reasons I didn't actually leave him was because I was so worried about money. I think there's a lot of people.
Yeah,
like
I think that's the case in a lot of relationships, is that people perhaps unhappy, but they're scared to leave that relationship or partnership or whatever because they worry about how they're going to cope on their own, or things are so intertwined and it's complicated. I think money is the thing that keeps a lot of people together.
I mean we're going to do a different episode, aren't we, on like divorce and splitting up with someone, because we could talk about this for hours.
Yeah.
But I do think when you're the one, obviously, that has to have the kids and go on maternity leave and blah, 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 you have to rely on your partner and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I was left with a lot of debt. I mean, a lot of debt, like a scary, scary amount. And I lived with that for, years and years and years and years, and nobody knew.
Nobody knew?
Not really. My sister knew.
Did your mum know?
My mum know, but she didn't know how much. I used to lie.
And why didn't you tell anyone?
Because it's just not a nice, I just don't know, just like you feel a little bit ashamed, I guess. It's embarrassing. And it wasn't my fault. It was like partly my fault, but I don't want to talk about him because it's unfair and he's the girl's father, but there were things in our relationship that meant that I had to burden a lot of debt.
Oh, God.
And it's embarrassing, but it's never off your mind. When you are in that much debt, everything you buy, there is guilt attached to it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? If you buy yourself a new top, you're like, I shouldn't be buying this because I've got all this much. Or you buy something for the girls, I shouldn't be buying this because I've got all this debt. And
I bet you're in a cycle, aren't you?
I'm never going to pay it off. Just thought I'm never, ever going to pay it off. It's really weird.
And how did you pay it off? Because there'll be people listening now who are in loads of debt and they're feeling like it's never going to end.
I juggled a lot with like balance transfers on credit cards. So I would like, that's a lifesaver. If you can manage to like transfer a balance to a 0% credit card, do it. Because what happens is when your interest starts on these credit cards, it just completely goes.
That's when you get into trouble, isn't it?
Yeah. I just managed to meet all my minimum payments for years, and then I started earning more money. And then obviously I did tell family members in the end. They helped.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of managed to pay it off.
Did you have to cut back on stuff? Like on your normal days, did you have to like be really careful about what you spent?
Yeah, I don't know. I just lived with it. It was really weird. I can't really remember what I used to do other than just pay. As long as I paid the minimum, I was like, just pay the minimum. You can live. You can actually live with it because as long as you make a payment, they don't come at you.
I guess as well, you have to like rewire your brain a little bit as well, don't you? And kind of like, because we're all guilty of just spending, aren't we? We'll see something we want, we'll think, oh yeah, I'll just buy it, it's fun. You don't really think about the consequences. So I guess it's rewiring your brain a little bit. We're like, no, I don't need to buy that. It's only because I want to and I'm not going to buy that.
Yeah.
And actually, if you stop spending, you can start, I was going to say saving a bit of money, maybe not saving, but seeing a bit more money.
Yeah. I used to like just imagine what it must be like with no debt. I remember I used to sit and be like, God, I can't imagine it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's a massive, sleepless nights.
Well, a lot of people, they commit suicide over it, don't they? It's so like demoralising and causes so much anxiety and stress and sleepless nights.
Yeah. The problem with debt is it's so easy to get into and it's so difficult to get out of.
Yep.
So that's it. I mean, I think nowadays, if you apply for loans and stuff, it's more difficult. You used to be able to get store cards and credit cards. They used to just throw them at you.
Yeah.
I remember when I was like 18, 19, had a Topshop store card and I had just hundreds of pounds to spend on it all the time.
Well, the thing is, you feel like it's free money, don't you?
Yeah.
You feel like it's yours and it's kind of like, well, hey, I'm living the life.
Yeah. But, do you know, I mean, it's still like a worry in the back of my mind. Like I'm out of it now and I'm just out of it. I don't have that worry. But like tax returns this month, I think I've lived with anxiety this month. I've lived on a high state of anxiety, which means that I've just been worried about it. I don't like dealing with money. I don't
well,
like it.
I think money triggers you, doesn't it,
massively.
in general?
Yeah.
Laura will say certain things to me and I'm like, are you been triggered?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I am. And I think you're very independent. Obviously, you're now married to somebody else, and but you're very independent with your money, aren't you? And you hate having to rely on somebody else for money.
Well, I've seen what money can do to you when you have a lot of it. Like firsthand, I've watched someone go through a really, really bad divorce when a lot of money is involved. And I just think, oh God, having lots of money, it does not make you happy. Like
it is the root of all evil, isn't it?
Oh my God, yeah. But being in lots of debt isn't great. I'm happy like I am. I don't want loads of money. I don't want it. But I don't want that feeling of not being able to afford something. Yeah. Which comes round to what me and you are doing, because we've lost work. I lost a massive job last year in a very, very, very shit way. Yeah. And that's meant that, well, I mean, we were going to graft anyway, but it's just meant that we literally rely on each other to earn our money, don't we?
Oh my God, yeah. And let's not forget that we lost our radio jobs. This is completely separate to the job you lost, isn't it? Last year. So we're not even a year into losing our jobs. And I mean, that went overnight, didn't it? All of our income, we weren't given like a payoff. There was no notice or anything like that. Literally, in 1 second, it was all gone. So that regular income coming in that you used to pay your mortgage, that you used to pay your bills, that you get your food shopping with, your fuel, gone.
Yeah.
So that was really
gone.
scary, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we both had other little bits and bobs we did, but it was a massive chunk that was coming in every month, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we've had to literally go out and source all of our own income from this podcast, haven't we?
Literally, yeah. And I think as well, we get to go to like the spa a lot, and like on our social media it's like, oh, we're doing this, and oh, look at us, we're at this event. But actually we've had to kind of find those people, speak to those people, convince them that, and actually we're new to this. I mean, we're doing bloody well, but it's
it's a scary thing as well, because somebody's not paying us every month.
Exactly.
We're not employed by somebody, and we get holiday pay and all those kind of benefits. We are literally out on our own, aren't we? And whilst it has some amazing benefits, doesn't it? And we're really happy doing what we're doing. We love working for ourselves. We love choosing what we do and when and that kind of thing. But it definitely comes with a certain amount of pressure as well.
Also, we've talked about if we ever got offered a radio job together. Like
people ask us a lot, and they say, oh, are you trying to get back into radio?
Yeah. And
or what would you do if you were offered a big radio gig?
Yeah. And we've kind of both said, you wait, we'll get offered. We'll be like, bye, end of the podcast, see ya. No, we wouldn't want to do it, because we know the risk of doing it for a start, because you do lose your job a lot in radio. So you might get this job and then a year later they're like, see ya. And you're like, shit, you've relied on that money. And also, we don't really want to be
beholden to somebody.
Especially radio people.
I know. Well, the thing is now we're so used to doing it for ourselves. Like, what's our saying? So this is from Pretty Woman, is it?
Yeah.
We say who, we say when, we say how much.
We're not a couple of prostitutes.
No, well, we might have to be if the cost of living crisis goes on. You might see us on a street corner. No, we're not. But I think going back, when you've worked for yourself, going back to work for someone is a really difficult thing. There's so many kind of like, it's very hard to slot back into that life, isn't it? When you've been very used to doing things for yourself.
Yeah. I do think though, there's a lot of people talk about like having a side hustle. You've got to have a side, if you are employed, get a side hustle. I think there's a lot of pressure for people to have side hustles, and actually some people are quite happy doing what they're doing. They don't want to earn extra money. They're comfortable with what they've got. Yeah. And I do think at the moment there's a lot of pressure about you've got to make money on social media. Like if you're not making money on social media, why want it? And it's like, well,
do you know what? I have to say that I've always been someone who's had like fingers in pies, and I've never kind of like done just one job. I've always done bits and bobs and side hustles, I guess. And I have to say, like, if you are somebody who's in like money troubles or debt, or I don't know, you're just a bit worried about money, there are definitely ways you can earn money.
Sure.
Even things like Vinted. We were talking about going online, selling your old clothes, having a clear out, or bags, or whatever it is. Facebook Marketplace, going on selling furniture.
I'll tell you another one that we were talking to someone about the other night. Dog walking.
Yes.
So in lockdown, you remember everybody bought puppies.
Yeah.
Everybody was buying dogs. They were so expensive because everyone wanted them. Now there's a plethora of people that have gone back to work that have these dogs that they need walking.
Yeah.
So dog, like anything, there's always something you can do.
There is. And I mean, I've never been in like horrendous debt. I've definitely struggled for money at times, but I've never had like a massive amount to sort of pay off. But obviously when I separated from Lily's dad, there's that kind of, you have to get used to a new norm. So obviously there's two of you in a household, and, paying for certain things, and you share certain things, and then it's just you. And it's you paying for the rent or the mortgage or whatever it is that wherever you live. There's you paying for your fuel, there's you paying for the shop, there's you, it literally comes down to you. And that's a big responsibility is when it's really scary.
Yeah, really scary.
And I mean, I was with my ex-husband since I was 16, pretty much. So for me, it was a complete whole new world, because he dealt with a lot of that stuff, and he was very organised and very good at that kind of thing. And I just didn't have a clue with any of it.
Yeah.
So when we separated, I had to educate myself quick.
Yeah.
But even like, there's all the money aspect, but then there's even all the things around the house that you have to do yourself, like bleeding the radiators, putting the bins out, like little things like that.
Yeah, I think this stuff should be taught in school. That's
do you know what
I think.
Yeah, I think there should be
girls
classes
in the classroom be like, right, girls, this is a toolbox.
Yeah.
This is a spanner. This is a hammer. This is how you put a nail in a wall. This is how you bleed your radiators. Also, this is a bank account. This is what goes in. This is what goes out. Don't get a credit. Do you know what I mean? Like little classes, like
life
skills.
Life skills, isn't it? Well, we were talking to a friend of ours, weren't we, about this? And she is divorced with children, and she was saying that she's going to look for a class where you can go and learn DIY for the day. And I was like, I'll come with you. I'm on it.
Classes like that. And if there's not, someone should start that.
Yeah.
There's a guy on YouTube called, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like, he's a great dad, and he started a YouTube channel if you haven't got a dad or you're single, and he runs through how to do things. But he's just the nicest
I need to
guy.
watch him.
And he gets millions and millions of views. It's something like not the alternative dad. I can't remember what it's called, but yeah. I always think my stepdad is so handy. He can make anything. He built a stable for my sister's horse.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, he's so handy. And I always used to joke and say, I should rent you out to my friends.
Mate, I'd pay him.
Yeah, I know.
I'd have him.
He won't do it now. Back in the day, he's so handy.
Do you know what it is as well? When you are, I can only talk from being a female on your own, it's all those little annoying jobs, right? That probably you feel a bit embarrassed to call someone out. It's like, I don't know, putting a shelf up or fixing a door handle or whatever. So it is those little things that you need someone to kind of do. And you get this big list of like little niggles that need fixing. But you're a bit embarrassed to ask someone to come and do it.
Yeah. No, that would be so handy.
It
but
would.
I definitely think there are things, I guess it's difficult if you've got like, young kids and you're like dealing with young kids and trying to work and do all that kind of shebang. It's so tough.
It is. And some people get overwhelmed. They don't want to have another job or don't want to have to, work their 9 to 5, then come back and think about something else. It depends on the person. But I do think there are definitely always things you can do to help with money. So us at the moment, we were saying, weren't we, that we are cutting right back at the moment. We've got plans, haven't we, for this summer, what we want to do with our money and where we want to go with this podcast. But it kind of involves us having to cut back a little bit at the moment. And whilst that might sound like it's not very fun, we're actually quite enjoying it, aren't we?
We are quite enjoying it.
It's like a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
And last year, we were spending quite a lot, weren't we, on drinks out, coffees out, which was ridiculous.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, I didn't really look at how much things were.
Neither of us did.
Stuff, like,
we were eating out all the time. We'd be toddling off to Leeds and, wherever. But we're trying to be a bit more sensible this year, aren't we?
Well, I messaged you, didn't I? We were supposed to go to Leeds tomorrow, but the strikes are on with the teachers, so we wouldn't have been able to go. But I did message you and I was like, at the weekend, I was like, I'm going to have to curb Leeds for a couple of weeks. Because obviously we have still got invoices that haven't been paid.
Yeah, and also we've both just paid really big tax bills.
Yeah.
There's been a lot. I had to pay out for my car before Christmas and things on the house, and obviously Christmas,
my daughter's 18th. I had to change my car this month, so that was stressing me out.
Yeah.
And I got a letter from the new finance company for my car, and I actually thought, oh my God, they don't explain it. Like the car tells them we can do this is your payments, bish bosh bash, done, got the car.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh God, I didn't even know who the finance was with. How bad is that?
Yeah, but you just don't normally.
They just sort it. They're just there going, yep, done, we'll pay off that and we'll sort that. And I'm like, all right then.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that came through and I said to my husband, I was like, bloody hell, it's with blah, blah, finance. I didn't know. But they just kind of sort it for you.
Yeah, they do it.
Yeah, which is kind of easy, actually. I'd rather that.
I was going to say, rather than you have to sort it out, love. But yeah, no, I am actually quite enjoying cutting back a little bit. And this was part of my hunkering in January, which actually is not going to come to an end, even though it's the 31st of Jan.
I'm going to hunker in Feb.
I've really enjoyed it. And do you know what? A bit like you were saying yesterday that you were off social media for the weekend, you got loads done. With my hunkering and not going out, I've got so much done, mate.
So much done.
Yeah, I've got organised. I've been cooking from scratch. I've been eating healthier. I've been working out more. Lily and I have been like cooking together. I've just been so much more productive. We've got so much more done with the podcast and what we want to do.
Yeah.
I would highly recommend hunkering.
I highly recommend a hunker.
Yeah. Anyone wants to hunker with me in Feb, let me know.
One more thing I would say as well is if you have children and they're kind of getting to like 14, 15, get them out volunteering. Get them out doing some volunteering somewhere so they get used to what it's like to work. My Grace went to a farm. She went to like volunteer on a farm.
I remember when she did that.
Oh, and it was graft. She didn't get paid. They let her like ride the horses. It was Matlock Farm Park, actually, great place. And that taught her so much. And then obviously she now works, and I can see she likes working. She likes the money. She's there for it. And I do think getting kids out doing a little job when they're younger, like 14, 15, I would highly recommend it.
Mate, Lily's 8 next month. She's going to be out grafting. Yeah, honestly. Do you know what? When I was younger, I had multiple jobs from when I was 12.
Oh, wow.
And mate, I became addicted. I used to babysit. I used to waitress. I used to work in a tea room. I worked in a hairdresser's. Mate, I lived for it. Loved getting some moolah.
I've just actually Googled, if you are listening and you are worried about debt, there's on gov.uk, there's a national debt line that gives you lots of advice, and also stepchange.org. That's a helpline, that's free, and they'll talk about debt and things because it is worrying.
Do you know what? I feel like you have to talk to somebody as well. Like you were saying earlier, it's very embarrassing. You feel ashamed. And then you can go on social media and see everyone with their ranges going on holiday, and you think, oh my God, they're not in money. They're not in, debt, or they haven't got money problems. Believe me. They have so many people we know who have got nice cars,
those
nice
ranges.
houses. Oh, yeah, they're financed up to their hilts. Like, some people can't even afford it, probably. They're getting into debt to drive around in a Rangy.
Yeah.
So do not believe everything you see. The majority of people, I would say, are in debt or living above their means. Don't believe it.
We will finish in a bit, but I do remember doing like a money podcast, a company I used to work for, and I spoke to he was like Martin Lewis. He literally was like Martin Lewis. And he said, if you're in debt, speak to the company you're in debt with, because all that company want is for you to say, I can't afford to pay this, blah, 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 but I can give you so much. It's like, as long as you communicate with them, it should be fine.
Yeah, so, you got this, guys.
You got it.
We're all in it together.
We literally are. You're hunkering like a...
Yep, I'm back off to hunker at home and not spend any money.
I've got to go into some training.
Bye, guys.
Bye.